Reflection for February 10th, 2026. When I was working in the hospital before COVID, we were beginning to see small signs saying, "Don't be afraid to ask," or staff with buttons saying, "Have you washed your hands?" It was, of course, part of a quality improvement campaign to get everyone to wash their hands when they entered a patient's room. My, how things have changed. Or have they? Today, the signs in the hospital are much bigger, the colors brighter, and they are everywhere, from the front desk to the elevators to the cafeteria and the restrooms. In these days, after the peak of COVID, we are much more careful in the hospital, and even at Mass, where some of our customs have changed. Communion ministers sanitize their hands before entering the sanctuary. We greet each other than family members, with a fist bump instead of a hug. But in Jesus' day, this question of hand washing was a whole different matter. Hand washing was not about germs, which they didn't even know existed, but it was a boundary marker, a custom which defined and separated Jews and Gentiles. It was a tradition practiced by the priests, but which the Pharisees wanted to extend to the daily life of all Jews. It is not in the Hebrew Bible, but it was a temple practice which the Pharisees wanted to extend to all Jews in their home life. It is a controversy in Mark's Gospel of Conflicts, which puts Jesus' authority to teach and to interpret the tradition directly in confrontation with the authority of the Pharisees. Jesus rejects hand washing as an identity-defining practice. His followers are defined by following God's will of love. The Pharisees are the often well-meaning religious authorities of the time for most of Jesus' contemporaries, and Jesus is the outsider. So this is not just about hand washing. It's more profoundly about Jesus' authority to teach and to interpret customs and traditions. As far as the Pharisees were concerned, Jesus was an outsider with no authority to teach or to interpret the tradition. The Pharisees were men of power. Jesus was an outsider, and of course he died an outsider. Do you and I listen to the voices of the outsiders in our time, in our church? Who are they? Did we listen to Dr. King? To Oscar Romero? Are we listening to the voices of the poor, of refugees? God does. God hears the cry of the poor. We sing it easily, but do we listen and hear them? Do we consider them prophets or voices which need to be suppressed? Do you remember the boundary markers of your Catholic youth? There were plenty. I don't need to enumerate them. Just take a minute. How powerful were they in your life then? What do they mean to you now? What was it like for you as some of them faded away? Do you have boundary markers in your Catholic Christian identity today? Or is your life without boundary markers, which either define or divide you from others? Definition and division are two different issues, of course, but both merit reflection. Jesus does not desire God's people to be divided. He redeemed us all, and as Paul told us, there is no longer Jew or Greek, male or female, slave or free, for all are one in Christ Jesus. Yet if we can say we are no longer divided, can we say we are defined by God's love for us, all of us, and our desire to do God's will in love?